So another 10 mistakes today. Someone pointed out one of my mistakes in one of my recent videos. I managed to mix up lay and lie. Terrible mistake for an English teacher to make, so don't worry, we all make mistakes. Let's have a look at these 10 mistakes. And I'm going to start off with when we were having a dinner together. And this is because, obviously this is an unfinished clause. This is because somebody asked me recently, is breakfast countable or uncountable? And another good question would be, is dinner countable or uncountable? Well, the first thing you do when you ask yourself this question is you check in a dictionary. If you're sitting on a computer, takes 2 seconds, just click on the dictionary. I would use Oxford Learner's Dictionary because it's got a lot of examples for countable and uncountable, but Cambridge shows you as well, and it will show you that when you use the phrase have dinner, it's used uncountably. Have breakfast, have lunch, have dinner, they're used uncountably. If you want to talk about an event, a dinner, then you can use it countably. You can say that was a wonderful dinner. You can certainly say that, but here it's being used uncountably, and so please do think about that when you're choosing articles. Number 2, and in 1 week Dr. Lanyon died. Now this is the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and my student was retelling the story, and she used this expression, in 1 week. Now this in plus time expression is actually used for from the present moment. You wouldn't use it when you're narrating a story. You'd have to use something else. You'd have to use the phrase, and 1 week later Dr. Lanyon died. Okay? If you say in 1 week, it sounds like the first in a week into October 2016. It doesn't sound like the hundreds of years ago that it was. Okay, on to number 3. He turned out to be dead for 3 years. A very clever student made this mistake, and I liked this mistake because it's a great example of perfect infinitive. When you see that word for, you know that you're thinking about perfect tenses, yeah? I have been living here for 3 years, or I have had my car for 10 years. You need to use perfect simple or perfect past perfect, sorry, present perfect or past perfect. But here we've got 2 plus infinitive, so to have been dead. He turned out to have been dead for 3 years. It really must be that. Please watch my videos on perfect gerunds and infinitives if you don't know what I'm talking about, but you really ought to use perfect infinitive for unfinished periods. Okay, number 4. People in the first picture are happier. This was a student, another very clever student, who was describing a picture for the FCE exam, and when you describe a picture and you talk about the people in that picture, you really must use an article. The people in the first picture are happier. Okay, so that would be not a capital letter, of course, but the people in the first picture are happier because you mean those ones. Okay, I think that's clear. Number 5, again, another very clever student. The game was 0-all. What a shame, because in sport we do say 2-all, 3-all, 7-all. Any other number, that would be correct. Yeah, when the score is 2-2 between Manchester United and Chelsea, we say the game was a draw. It was 2-all. Yeah, the game was a draw. It was 2-all. We usually just say 2-all. But we do not say 0-all. We say 0-0. So unlucky, Alex. You're very close to the correct answer, but unfortunately we say 0-0, 1-all, 2-all, 3-all. But the game was a draw. Okay, number 6. Except for money, the software motivates me. Now, this is confusion between the students mixing up except for and apart from. And they're only the same sometimes. Sometimes they are the same. But apart from has 2 meanings and except for only has 1. Apart from means except for, yeah, meaning this is an exception. Yeah, when you mention an exception. So everybody's coming to my party except for Jack. Everybody's coming to my party apart from Jack. Then it means excluding, yeah, with the exception of. But the second meaning of apart from is besides, also, moreover, furthermore. And that's the word which we want here. As well as money, the software motivates me. Yeah, so we could make it as well as, or we could use apart from money, the software motivates me. So that's the second meaning of apart from, when you mean as well as, besides, moreover. Okay? So remember, they're only the same sometimes, but sometimes they're different, because apart from has two meanings. Okay, number 7, we won them 7-1. Nope, not win here. It should always be beat if you're going to use an object. We won 7-1 is correct, or we beat them 7-1. Okay, number 8, in the most part of situations, really common mistake. Majority. We do not say most part. Loads of people say it, and it's from students from different countries. It's not just students from one country. Everybody seems to want to say most part. No, in the majority of situations. Number 9, he told him Jekyll didn't come out of his study for a week. And I want to highlight for a week, because again, as soon as you see for a week, for 3 years, you're thinking perfect tenses. Here, it's clearly a reported past perfect tense that we need, because we've got told, and in my past perfect videos I have told you that when you see he told him, very often you see hadn't afterwards, or had. So be aware of past perfect in reported speech. You see it all the time, and lots of times people miss it. Last mistake was right at the beginning of a lesson. Again, another very clever student, of course, and this was one of the only mistakes he made. He said, "Are you hearing me okay?" And we do not say that, because with verbs of perception, they are stative verbs. They are stative verbs when used in this sense. We just say, "Do you hear me?" They can be dynamic verbs in other senses. For example, I am hearing voices, you could say, and that would be used correctly. That's when you mean voices in your head, you're going crazy. Or if you say, I have been seeing her for 3 weeks, then it means I've been going out with her. So these verbs of perception are possible dynamically, but not when they just mean perceive. And so here we would say, do you hear me okay? Or can you hear me okay? Yeah, do you hear me okay? Or can you hear me okay? One of those two. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll be making more of these videos naturally in the future when I get time. If you have any questions about any of these mistakes, please put them under the video, and I hope to see you all soon.